We're coming to your city. Gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along. Well, we flew through Cincinnati.
Come on along and welcome aboard Indiana Sports Speed with Coyle O'Leary coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals. Make sure you go to thehoosier.com. Great coverage of IU athletics there. Alec Lasley will be on with us tomorrow. As a matter of fact, to talk about some recruiting because there's some stuff going on underneath, but we got plenty to talk about today, Todd Leary. First of all, Johnny Majors, I have to mention he passed away at 85 yesterday. Former Tennessee Volunteer, but 1956 Heisman Trophy winner. But he also, I think he played on a national championship team, but he coached Pitt to a 1976 national championship. And his lead running back was a kid that he calls Tony Dorsett.
Not a bad person to jump on the shoulders of.
Yeah. Back in I kind of remember those teams when I was a kid, but I don't really remember it. But I do remember him being a big name. He was a big time coach at Tennessee. So
Tony Dorsett went to Pitt?
Yeah, played at Pitt.
Could not have told you that.
Oh yeah, that's one of those. I remember that. It's just it's kind of funny. I think if you look back at a lot of big time stars like that from that era, a lot of us don't remember the schools they went to, and it's like, really, he went there. So yeah, it's just.
Well, I remember him much more as an NFL as a professional than
Cowboy man. He's known as the Dallas Cowboy without doubt. Yeah. Even Emmitt Smith. I mean, he had great exploits in Florida, but man, you can't think of him without that star on the side of his head.
I couldn't have told you straight up. I would have thought of it eventually, but I couldn't have just rattled off where Emmitt Smith went to college without thinking about it a little bit.
But yeah, that his running the ball with that Dallas Cowboy star on the side of his head is just that's all you think about, man, from those days. But speaking of quarterbacks, Drew Brees is. No, he's drawing the ire of a lot of people. He kind of missed the mark with some comments yesterday, but I saw he's issued an apology. So hopefully everybody can kind of find that common ground because that was not – you could tell it's not something he meant to cause harm, but it did, and you've got to be paying attention to that stuff. But I think overall it's going to lead to the right place.
Right now the sensitivity is so – strong right now that you just basically you have to watch what you say, and it's there's a thin line right now, and as there should be. Like I understand that, and some people are just I don't understand. I think Drew Brees thought he needed to come out and maybe say something because right now, I mean, look at the way it is right now. They're getting on coaches and administrators and executives and politicians if they don't come out and say something right now. And if you got to be careful what you do say, because if you say anything that's not extremely sensitive and understanding, then you're going to get blasted for that. So it's kind of a darned if you do, darned if you don't.
Yep, absolutely. Some funny news in horse racing. Dr. Fossey. He finishes second in his debut at Belmont Park. I noticed that yesterday. So there's a little levity to add to the situation. The NBA is expected to approve a 22-team format to restart the season in Orlando at Walt Disney World. There's a conference vote today at 12:30 to confirm it for sure. But it looks like 13 teams from the Western Conference, 9 from the Eastern Conference. They'll play like 8 regular season games. There's like a play-in for the 8th seed, but they're looking at restarting it, playing some games, and then going to the playoffs, which actually that's fine with me because most people don't give a crap about the NBA regular season. And if you're going to watch it, most people that don't watch it regularly will watch the NBA playoffs, not anything else. So perfect timing. I think they should cut the whole regular season off every year and go straight to the playoffs.
You know what? By the time the playoffs come around, these guys have already played 82 games, and they are, as anyone would be. I mean, that's a lot of games. I mean, think about it. There's not a single college team that plays 40 games. So, I mean, to think about playing 82 games is exhausting just to think about it. And this could possibly be, and I've never been a gigantic NBA fan, primarily because the regular season games, for the most part, don't mean a whole lot. And this may truly be the best atmosphere possible for competitiveness and guys that are fresh and hungry and want to get out and play. Truly, it could be the best NBA playoffs in a long time. Now, the one thing I haven't read about, I read about the 22 teams and all that. The thing I haven't read about is, are they going to do the same, 7-game series things that they've been doing? I haven't seen whether they're going to do modified.
I bet you they don't. I mean, if anything, I would expect expanded. I think that they're going to try to get all they can out of whatever playoffs it might be to showcase, number one, but also to get that TV time that they've missed out on. So I haven't seen it either like you, but I would expect nothing less for sure. But if anything, the same or more, just to get more TV time.
Yeah, I mean, that would, that seems. They went from years ago. I mean, we would just watch The Last Dance, and you saw those Bulls teams. I mean, the first series, it may have even been the first 2 series in the conference playoffs were best 3 out of 5. And then I think everything now has gone to 4 out of 7, if I'm not mistaken. And those are some long series. It's tough to close a team out with those. It could make for, they're talking about not being done until October the 12th. And that's a while.
I don't know if it's just me, but I don't know if there's a quote that is more ingrained into my head than any time. I'm like Pavlov's dog. Anytime anybody says the word playoffs, Jim Mora's clip just pops in. Playoffs.
Jim
Mora. I wanted Jim Mora. One of Jim Moore that said that, but
yeah.
It's like it's Pavlov's dog. It is instantaneous, and that is from what 25 years ago. It's nuts how that is just
the funny part of one of the funny parts about that is you can't say it without the
saying it just like it. Yes,
you have to say it just like that. Almost cracking your voice, and
it's so easy too. It's like everybody does a perfect impersonation of it. It's weird. But yeah, great clips like that to just stand the test.
That and the Allen Iverson saying,
oh, yeah.
Practice. You're talking about practice.
I mean, permanent.
You can't say it without the facial expression. And, it's.
And you hear, and everybody has it perfectly memorized. And that's one of those things that you don't remember. It's like it is permanently in your head. It's so funny. Oh my gosh, this is great stuff. Major League Baseball. Oh, go ahead.
I'm just going to say, I mean, that's what you think of when you think of Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
I mean, it truly is. That's the first thing that comes to my mind when someone brings up Allen Iverson.
And the funny thing is for him, I hate to say this now, but he was right. He was like, yeah, he was a gamer. He was just a gamer. It didn't matter. Just turn it on. He's going to play.
The unfortunate part for him is he played for a coach that was kind of an old timer. And if he'd played for Phil Jackson, think about what that would have been like. Phil Jackson obviously would have let him fly out to Vegas for a couple of days if he needed to.
That's right. Can you imagine him on that team?
No.
Oh, my gosh.
No.
That wouldn't have worked out too well. It'd be like having James Harden and Westbrook on the team with Jordan. Good luck with that.
It's fun to watch, but it's not going to win it.
Major League Baseball has rejected the players' offer of a 114-game season with no additional salary cuts. They also told the union they don't expect to make a counteroffer. FYI, Major League Baseball's May 26 proposal would lower their salaries on the owner's side from $4 billion to $1.2 billion. That's how much salary money they're looking at. And I get it's a lot of money, but at the same time, you got 20 million people out of work in America, and these guys are worried about whether or not they're going to make 19 million or 28 million.
I'm giving my version of a standing ovation to the owners in Major League Baseball for not counter-offering and just saying, hey, you know what? We made you an offer. Deal with it. Everybody's dealing with stuff. Deal with it.
Yeah, it's just crazy that they think that they can just have this with no fans in the stands and less games, and they're going to make the same money. I'm like, what? Okay, you just pull this money out of thin air. Doesn't work that way, man. It doesn't work that way for anybody else in the world. No one else's job. If you don't, I just don't understand the thinking. It's just because athletes have become such an entitled species. It's nuts. But we could be looking at not having baseball, which that's happened before. We've had a strike before, but that's not as problematic. I mean, you don't like it, but you understand that they're fighting for their rights. This is not that. This is it's like, whoa. This is a universal, a global thing, and you guys are kind of really standing out like nobody else. And I think they're going to take a hit from it.
Well, I mean, they've taken hits over the years. I mean, the strike from back, what was it, in the 90s or whatever it was? I mean, baseball's had to rebound so many times from stuff. It's just eventually you would think these guys would be really thankful for what they have. And they're a prime example of people worrying about what they're missing out on and don't have versus being thankful for what they've got.
I agree. Dustin Schutte is going to join us later. We'll talk some football, but we're going to talk a little bit of basketball today. And then tomorrow, Alec Lasley will be on with us. We're really going to hit on recruiting. But a thing of note, kind of great interest I saw yesterday, Todd, Mike Miller resigned from Memphis as an assistant coach there. His son, Mason Miller, very, very high on Indiana's target list for recruits. And I got to be honest with you, I think Indiana, and I don't know how much this has to do with that, but I really think Indiana is in a really good position all of a sudden for Mason Miller. And can you imagine bringing in a Mason Miller, a Trey Kaufman, Logan Duncombe on top of what they're bringing in this year, on top of what they have right now?
I can imagine it. Yes. Imagined it a lot.
Well, you've lived it before. So
I've never seen him in person. Some of these guys I've been able to see in AAU in person, but he's a guy I've seen in video, and we know what his dad could shoot like. And he's got that same touch. He's got that touch where it's not in his hand for very long and it's going up from deep, and he makes a lot of them. So he would definitely need to put on some weight. He's super skinny. If you remember his dad back in his playing days, I mean, he was pretty skinny early on too, but man, you can't manufacture the height, and he's definitely got the shooting touch.
Yep, no doubt about that. The Notre Dame Navy game, missed this yesterday, originally set to take place in Ireland. Unfortunately, that's going to be moved back to Annapolis, and it was going to be on week 0, but now it's going to be week 1 of the college football season on Labor Day weekend, as Navy will take on Notre Dame in Annapolis. So no Ireland game for the Fighting Irish this year, unfortunately, which is, again, I'm wondering, Maui Classic's in my mind. No announcement on that. Won't be for some time, but it's in my mind.
It'll happen. Maui Classic will happen.
Dustin Schutte is going to join us here in a little bit. We're going to talk some college football. We got more basketball to talk and other news. Stay tuned. You're listening to Indiana Sports Beat, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals, of course. Hey, if you're looking for a great opportunity for Father's Day, got you a deal down at French Lick. How about Dad playing for $1? Yeah, that's right. With a paying member on Father's Day on the Donald Ross course, Dad can play for $1, man. That's about as good a deal as you can get for Pops. That course is one of the most beautiful courses in the world, but there's your opportunity. We got plenty more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Stay with us. We're back with that right after this.
Give me reasons to believe that you would do the same for me.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is former Indiana basketball player Brian Evans, and you're listening to Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle.
Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry.
This is how you remind me.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios on this Thursday, it's June 4th. Joined now by our good friend Dustin Schutte from Saturday Tradition. Dustin, how are you, man?
Hey, Jim, I'm doing well. How about you?
Doing fine. Todd's sitting here right beside me as well. Hope you're having a good day.
Absolutely. How's Todd doing this morning?
Todd's managing. He's got to be going back and forth between mute so he doesn't snore. No, I'm just kidding. Lots going on, but right now I can't think of anything more prevalent. There was a nice video put out with Indiana and Tom Allen, but in these times, man, Tom Allen is really standing out because we've seen all these coaches come out and make statements, and I remember I made a comment yesterday that Tom Allen, a lot of coaches are talking the talk right now, but Tom Allen is a guy who has walked the walk from day one and continues. And I think that comes through, and you can just really see that in the team. You can see that in the comments coming from that team, and I think that is such a huge, huge statement for that football program.
Yeah, and I think that you saw, just how important that message was that he sent out the other day, not only him, but the Indiana football program. And when you see what's happening at other programs across the country right now, I think it's important to remember that how well received that message was from Tom Allen. He's issued statements. He's talked about it online. They posted that video the other day. And like you said, his players are backing him up, and they show the love. There's a mutual love and respect there. And I think that that's really important to show that Tom Allen he's not just putting out, these statements or sending these messages for good PR or for recruiting. He's doing it because his message is he loves these kids and he wants these kids to love one another. And ultimately, that's how we get to a better place, right? Not just with Indiana football or not the Big Ten or college football, but how we get to a better world. And so I think that that's one way to show leadership through example. You've seen a lot of coaches, throughout college football post similar messages or post similar words, but I think Tom Allen has been one of the guys in the Big Ten who's been at the forefront of this. And that message, like you said, the video making its way around the internet right now is getting a lot of praise. And I think Tom Allen and the Indiana football program deserves a lot of credit for how they've approached everything here in the last few weeks.
Yeah, and I can tell you a lot of people, and even me, back in the beginnings of that stuff, it looked kind of cheesy. It came across kind of cheesy a little bit, but the consistency never wavered. Then in doing interviews with players, I could see it was like, wow, this is permeating. This is real. Talking to Tywone Mullen last summer before he played a game, I could see this was real. He believed that. That was what they were living by. So it creates a huge difference because Indiana football is not exactly a bastion of greatness, and Tom Allen is making a difference. And they brought in coaches with big names before, whether it was Sam Weitz or DiNardo, whomever, that could not get it done, did not get it done. Tom Allen is doing things a lot of guys haven't done, but he's doing it kind of in a different way. But he's doing it in a way that to me may have very long-standing effects in a positive manner.
Yeah, I mean, he's doing this the right way, and he's built that trust. He's been there he's been at Indiana for 4 years. He's been the head coach now for 3 seasons, and he's built that trust with his players. He's built that trust out while recruiting, and it expands further than just what's on his team. He goes out to these communities where he builds these relationships with these schools, with these players. Even if you don't end up going to Indiana, he continues to have those relationships with those schools and some of those players. So that's really important. And I think what you're realizing right now is that, yes, Tom Allen has been a great head coach for Indiana. We talked about him all season long, all off season, about what he was able to do on the field, getting Indiana to 8 wins, getting them in the top 25, getting them to a bowl game, all incredible stuff, all admirable stuff. He's bringing in great recruiting classes. But now you're seeing precisely why he's able to do that. And maybe it's not because he's a brilliant X's and O's guy. Maybe he's not, the best recruiter out there, but he's a genuine person, and people can buy into that. People believe in that. And that's why you're seeing the success that you saw last season for Indiana. That's why you see, them going to Nebraska and beating Nebraska when maybe they don't have quite as much talent. It's because those kids believe in what they're talking and what Coach Allen is preaching and what he's talking about. And that's a strong power right there. And so, again, I commend Tom Allen because he's one of the coaches, like you said, some of these coaches will just put out a statement and then they're kind of done with it, right? Like we see that all across sports when we have these situations arise all the time. But Tom Allen has talked about his message, love each other, since day one, and he's continuing to send that message right now. And you're seeing a lot of his players, a lot of those incoming recruits even say, yes, I picked the right program. This is what Indiana University football is about. This is what Tom Allen is about. And it's just a very powerful message. And it doesn't matter if Tom Allen never gets to a bowl game again. Doesn't matter if he ever beats Purdue again. I mean, that stuff does matter. But at the same time, this is the stuff right now that's really important. And he's setting the example, not just, like I said, not just at Indiana, but across college football and for the world, really.
I agree with you. And now that you said that doesn't matter, let me say that now it matters. No, I'm kidding.
but you know what? This is the thing this is what you've got to trust when it comes to, to what he's putting out there and what he did. I was with you at the beginning. We've heard coaches come up with these cliche, rah-rah things that they'll do. And if you don't live it, it's almost kind of fake. And yes. but you don't have to be around Tom Allen for very long. And I've only been in person with him twice. And I'll tell you, he has that Bill Mallory effect. He has that, ready to get you to run through a wall, the Bob Knight aura of getting you pumped up and excited. And he gains your respect almost immediately. And I think it'll translate. That's the difficult part for us. I mean, Dustin makes a good point. Like what he's doing is much bigger than just football games, but he won't have a job if he doesn't win in the long run. And that's just the unfortunate way that it is. But I think it'll translate. I truly think,
I do too.
What they're doing now will translate onto the field.
Now the question, Dustin Schutte, is will it translate to 9 wins this season for Indiana? Because they have, they're coming off a season which they should have actually won 10 games. But 9 wins is absolutely in the wheelhouse for what they have coming back, for the schedule, how it lays out. It's more than a possibility to me. If they don't hit 9 wins, slightly disappointing. Unbelievable as that statement is to say. I know that sounds stupid.
Yeah, and I think that the expectation is going to be, they definitely could get 9 wins. I don't know if they'll get there with the regular season, but you get to a bowl game, and I think it's really within the realm of possibility. When you look at what Indiana's schedule presents, you've got 3 winnable non-conference games. Obviously, Rutgers and Maryland are down, so that's, looking at that, you should get 5 wins right there. Michigan State's down. Michigan is a team that's in a rebuilding phase, so right there you're talking about 7 wins. So if you can steal an upset somewhere along the way, or if you can beat Purdue at the end of the season again and make it 2 straight wins over the Boilermakers and get to that bowl game and get to 9 wins, that's huge. We talked all season long about, can Indiana get over that hurdle? One of those obstacles was winning a tough road game. They went to Nebraska last season. They got a big road win over a perennial power, and I know Nebraska right now isn't what it used to be in the 90s and early 2000s, but now it's, can they knock off a Michigan? Can they knock off a Penn State or an Ohio State? And I think that they have that. I think they have the amount of talent returning. Those other teams are going to be really good. But again, I think that if you look at Indiana's schedule and you mark off the wins and say, hey, if we beat who we're supposed to beat or who we're capable of beating this season, then I think they could easily get to 8 wins and challenge for a 9th win in a bowl game this season. So it'll be really interesting. That first game against Wisconsin is going to be huge. That could be a really program-changing win if they knock off the Badgers, who've won the West, for the last 5 years. They have the opportunity to get to 8-9 wins this season. I don't know that they'll hit the 10-win mark this year. That might be a little ambitious. But, again, when you look at some of the teams that are taking a step back, the teams that they are above, I wouldn't be surprised to see Indiana finish 3rd in the Big Ten East this season. And what a huge accomplishment that would be a year after coming off 8 wins, getting ranked in the AP poll, and coming just a few seconds away from winning the Gator Bowl.
Well, to me, and I'm going to throw a little water on the deal, they have to finish 3rd in the Big Ten East, to me, to show improvement, because Michigan State is very susceptible right now. They're in a coaching change. They got a bunch of crap going on up there. Indiana should have already beat them last year. They were ahead of them last year, just didn't get it done. They've got them at home this year. Unquestionably, that's you cannot lose that game. You got Penn State at home, who they should have beat on the road last year as well. To me, those are games that it's time for them to win. It is time for you to win home games where you are equally matched. You can't lose those games anymore. It's time to move up in front of Michigan State on that Big Ten East. Now, Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan, that's bigger stake to chew off, but like I said, you got Penn State at home. Wisconsin on the road, that's tough, man. If you could do that, that's magical. But the games you have to win, you got to beat Michigan State and you got to beat Penn State at home for me to take that next step, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I think I'm going to disagree with you just slightly. I get where you're coming from, and I understand that point. But I think if you're able to show, if you continue to be competitive, because Ohio State and Penn State are going to be really, really good this season. So if you can show that you're competitive against Ohio State on the road and then Penn State at home, and you're able to knock off one of those teams, that's going to be fantastic. Obviously, that's going to show that you're taking a step in the right direction. But I don't remember the last time Indiana won. I probably wasn't alive the last time Indiana, had back-to-back 8-win seasons, or if it's even ever happened, I'm not sure. And the times that they've gone bowling in back-to-back seasons has been rare. I know they did it in the final years of the Kevin Wilson era. So I think that there's something to be said for just being able to sustain success. That has been such a problem in Indiana over the course of time that it's not just beating those helmet schools. It's saying, hey, we went to a bowl game last year. Guess what? We're going to do it again this year. We're going to get in there comfortably. They have a chance with the way their schedule plays out. They have a chance to, again, lock up bowl eligibility before the calendar turns to November. I mean, that's absolutely huge, and that helps you with recruiting, and obviously that gives you some momentum, because when you head into those final, 3-4 games of the season, and you have absolutely nothing to lose at that point, you're going to play with a little bit of fire in you. So I think that if they can continue to be competitive, if they get to 7 or 8 wins, just getting back to bowl games and doing something consistently, which has been such a problem at Indiana, I think that alone will show some progress. But I don't think you're wrong. I think that they need to show that they can beat some of those big name schools. I'm just not going to say that they're taking a step back if they don't do so this season.
Oh yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't think they're taking a step back. I want to see them take that step forward, but I agree. You've got to maintain. You've got to have consistency. But I want forward progress. I'm pushing them out, right, Todd Leary? You got to push.
I think that if you grade, what grade would you give last season? I mean, if I was grading it, I would give them a B. I think that it was a good season. I don't think it was a great season. You're
grading it the way it should be graded. Too many Indiana fans will grade it on Indiana football as opposed to grading it against the rest of college football. And I think you're right on the mark.
In order for them to get to the point where, I think winning the bowl game would have bumped it all the way up to a B+. I think it would have been a much better grade. But I don't think no matter what you've got to get to 9 wins and a bowl win, making it 10 before you get an A- even. And that's where they want to get to. And that's the goal. And that's what I think their expectation level for themselves is. And that to me is what's different from the past. I mean, we're talking right now, like if they won 7 games, the way the schedule is, it's not an easy schedule. And it could be a season. I could still view it as a B- season if they only won 7 games.
Yeah.
But I could all go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, generally the conversation about Indiana football revolves about getting to a bowl game. And
yeah, it is. And that's when, Tom Allen, he's succeeding in what he's doing, because our expectation level is a lot higher than what it used to be.
Yeah, just because this conversation is
Sure.
of what it is, that is proof enough. That is a lot of proof right there. He's right, Dustin. Brother, anything you got coming out people need to know about?
So I went ahead and I've ranked Big Ten head coaches recently. I put out a story, in our earlier conversation talking about Tom Allen, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. I have a similar story about Jim Harbaugh, who got out in Ann Arbor on Tuesday and participated in an anti-police brutality march. Had a story on that. And then, if you want to learn about why I don't think any Big Ten head coaches are going to get fired this season, I've got a story out on that. So not too much going on. But those 3 stories are some of our most recent out there on SaturdayTradition.com.
Where did Tom Allen rank?
I had him at number 9 right now.
Sounds about right. Well, I appreciate you joining us, brother. We always look forward to it.
Hey, thanks, Jim. Thanks, Todd. You guys have a great weekend.
You betcha. Dustin Schutte from Saturday Tradition joining us here on the program, talking some football. We'll talk some basketball when we come back. But, Yep. Fun times, man. When you're having a conversation about Indiana winning 10 games in football, yes, I understand the how crazy that sounds by itself, but it is what it is. Hey, we got lots more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Coyle Larry coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. Make sure you stay tuned for all of it. But don't forget, if you're looking for something for Pops, man, here's the deal. Get major dad points this Father's Day by treating him to a round on the Donald Ross course at French Lick. Dad plays for $1 with a paid full round on Sunday, June 21st. Hurry, tee times won't last. Call 812-936-5523. That's 812-936-5523. Give yourself a tee time today. Man, Pops can play for $1 down there. Beautiful times. We got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Back to the studios right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the golf club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The golf club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
Hey, this is Jordan Halls, former Indiana Hoosier. Keep up with Indiana sports on Indiana Sports Beat.
We've met and set down those expectations, and step number one was really embracing, as I've told him, being the starting quarterback in the Big Ten. What does that look like? What do those expectations look like? And mapping those out for him, and at the top of the list is being able to, how do you prepare, and that's every phase. That's your eating habits, that's your sleeping habits, that's your film study habits, that's your leadership development, as you grow and become a year older in this program, and expectations grow because you are a year older. And obviously, keeping him healthy is a huge part of that, gaining good weight, getting his body mass, where he can take the hits that are going to be given in this league. And so
There's Tom Allen. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios here on this Thursday, June 4th. Tom Allen talking about Michael Penix. We were talking some football just a little bit ago, and it's going to be fun, man. I'm excited about it. I know it's a crazy slow down start to the getting things going, but I'm looking past all that, hopefully, and because you have to, and looking forward to the season. But there's also basketball coming up that lots to be talked about. Archie Miller, I think he got a big boost yesterday, Todd, and Mike Miller resigning at Memphis. I don't know why. This is not because I've been told anything, but just to me, it makes it feel a lot better, the chances of Indiana landing him.
Yeah, it certainly doesn't hurt. How in the world would you expect him to go anywhere other than Memphis if his dad is a coach there? So, it definitely opens up, the possibility. And if you read the information about it and the articles about it, it's definitely on his list and somewhere he's interested in looking at. I know. I'm pretty sure Brian Evans played with his dad at one point in the NBA. So I'm going to check in with Brian and see if maybe we can get him on tomorrow and talk a little bit about his relationship with him. Maybe we can get an inside track.
Because he definitely played with Penny Hardaway, I believe, who is the coach at Memphis. I think we talked about that with him before, if I'm correct? That
Yep,
seems to stick
he
out.
was drafted by Orlando, and he definitely
Yeah.
played down there with Penny. So yeah, and I'm pretty sure that at one point he crossed paths with Miller in the NBA, and if not, I know that they're kind of buddies. So
Well,
we'll find out.
I'm looking at. I mentioned it earlier. We talked about, but you start putting those names up there: Trey Kaufman and Mike Mason Miller, and the guys they got coming in this year: Leo and Galloway and Geronimo and Lander, Trace Jackson Davis. Boy, now we're talking about talent. 2 years ago, a year ago, 3 years ago, I don't think people realized they just didn't have the talent. Was okay, but it's not up here. It's got to be up here. It's got to start higher to get higher. And they didn't have enough talent. Now, if the names that we're just talking about right now, a year from now, if all those names are in camp, that's a lot of talent at a lot of different positions.
Yeah, and the interesting part is that you say in that is, we've been saying for 2 years, okay, if Rob Finney's healthy, he's playing, he's starting, and I don't want to say that that's a negative. I just want to say, like, there's not been a ton of people pushing him.
You need options.
And that's definitely not going to be the case anymore. I mean, guys are going to be fighting for positions. And I'm talking about, I truly right now, I'm telling you, Trace Jackson Davis is the only guaranteed starter, in my opinion. I mean, and when I say starter, my feelings on that. I mean a starter who's going to play 30 minutes.
Yes.
I think Joey Brunk started every game last year, but a lot of games he only played 5 or 8 minutes. So I'm talking about guys that are Trace Jackson Davis is going to play 30 minutes a game. I shouldn't say starter. I should say he's going to play 30 minutes a game. Beyond that, I'm telling you, all these guys coming in have a chance at playing 30 minutes a game or 25 plus minutes a game because they're that good. And I firmly believe they're that good. When you talk about adding the guys you just mentioned, you talk about adding, if you can get a Trey Kaufman to join Logan Duncombe, and then you add a Mason Miller to that. I mean, you're without worrying about rankings, like forget what they're physically ranked or what they're ranked nationally as individual players. I mean, you're talking about an unbelievably good group of kids coming in that can help your team right away. And I mean, that's all you can ask for in a recruiting class.
Well, and there are a bunch of guys that are not offensively challenged. They can score. They can all score in different ways.
Goodness.
In different ways, and that's exactly what Indiana has not had. They've not had guys at each position that can do what they need done. They just haven't. I mean, there's been, this spot's been good, and this spot's been good. You need minimum 4 really, really good ones, if not a 5th, on the floor all the time. You can't have – there are no half measures. Half measures get you half victories, in my opinion.
And there's, I think I know basketball people will understand this, and it's just kind of a weird way to have to try to explain it, but more offensive talent coming in and being on the floor is going to make it easier for Trace Jackson Davis to score more points.
Oh yeah.
Now his possessions may not increase. His touches might not increase.
May go down.
It may go down. But he's not going to have the double teams. He's not going to. I mean, there was no hesitation last year. There were teams, Iowa being one of them, Michigan State being another one. When he caught the ball, there wasn't any. They didn't wait for him to dribble, move. They didn't wait for him to look at the basket or face the basket. They went and double teamed immediately because they didn't respect the other 4 players on the floor offensively. And so that's not going to be the case anymore. Like it is. Those days are over for IU, thank goodness, because that's all I talk about in post games is the lack of ability to score, and that's not going to be that's why I've been excited for seasons in the past. I've been excited to see how recruits do in recruiting classes. This is one I can't remember the last time I was this excited. I mean, it's been a long time ago.
Yeah, and shooting, and of course, shooting has been a great issue. But you talk about helping out Trace Jackson Davis, man. Give that team an outside threat that other teams have to respect. How much help does that give Trace Jackson Davis to opening up that middle?
There's no way to really put it in terms of it's never going to be easier, but he's not going to be battling multiple defenders the same way he was before. We're not just talking about, a bunch of spot up shooters. I mean, these guys coming in are athletic. I mean, they're they're the 2020 version of, the 1980 whatever and 90 whatever Bob Knight teams. I mean, these guys coming in are skilled, yet they're also athletic and talented. I mean, this is a fun group to come in and I think Indiana fans have a lot of reason to still have a really high expectation level and definitely a ton of excitement for the offensive abilities this team's going to have.
I agree, and it's a lot of positive thoughts today, right now, on Indiana football, basketball. That's not been the case here of late. It's been a lot of consternation, but man, a lot. And of all years, this year is a weird one, but 2020. But it just feel pretty good about going into next year with both of these programs, and that's just an unusual place to be.
Yeah, I mean. You and I talked about it back when Fred Glass announced his, this was going to be his last year and he was going to retire this year. I mean, when you look back on what he has accomplished over time, I mean, there are a million responsibilities that an athletic director has. But if we just look at it, from the outside looking in, his job is to, hire good coaches and get good people in there. And boy, how do you not be extremely satisfied? Satisfied is not the right word. Pleased with what he has done in that capacity. And that doesn't even talk much about the improvement in facilities and all the other, making it easier to recruit and all the other things that go along with it. So, Fred Glass should get an enormous amount of credit for the coaches that are there and the kind of people they are and what the kind of people that those coaches are in turn bringing into the programs.
Joker sent in a text. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to watch football and basketball this fall. No doubt. I think that's going to be the case. Tim text in. Todd's wrong. Of course. Perfect. Just kidding. Jennifer.
You got to be more specific. I'm wrong about a lot of things.
He just put it wherever you want it. Jennifer sent in a nice little photo. Says, still can't believe Tiger King was the most normal part of 2020. That ain't a lie. Larry in Bloomington, how will IU football coaching staff determine which players come back as the first 65, then in 2 weeks the next bunch? Well, if they have the option, I'm sure you're going to take the best 65. You're going to take your players, the guys that are.
Well, and they'll go with how in spring training in baseball they bring back pitchers and catchers first. They'll have quarterbacks and receivers and timing positions. They'll have those back, I would guess, first. But I mean, when you look at it, of 120-man roster, I mean, I'm not saying anything negative about any position, but I mean, a lot of those are linemen and special teams players and walk-ons and freshmen, and I'm sure the guys that are upperclassmen and guys that are kind of in the top two of the depth charts, I'm sure they'll be the guys that come back first.
Yeah, let's say if this was a basketball team, it won't be the walk-ons coming in first. It's just that simple. I mean,
it's just common sense.
Yeah, it's exactly. That's no question on that. But the fact that they're getting to do that now is a great, just something good to know. But and that question about will we have football and basketball? Yeah, we're going to have it, but the basketball still is the question on how that is going to be, because a couple things. Number one, they keep talking about a big potential of a second wave of the COVID-19 coming in around November, right in time for basketball season. So what? And it's indoors, versus football. So what's college basketball going to be like this year? I don't know that we don't know yet. There's no way that we
don't know yet. That is accurate. I think that's pretty accurate.
And it's not that we know about football, but I think we pretty much can figure football out. There's going to be fans in the stands, and they're going to figure out a way to socially distance them, and that's going to be that. I think. I don't see a way around socially distancing right now, but that's what I'm assuming it's going to be like.
Well, I mean, if you're going to have student on campus, we're assuming that they are, and they're saying that they are, then you're going to have kids in fraternities and kids in dorms, and they're going to be all around each other anyway. So I don't see. I think they'll figure out a way to get student fans, and I could be wrong with that. I think they're going to play. I think they're going to. They're going to figure out a way to have the players on the field. Whether there's people in the stands or not will be a bonus if there is. But they're going to figure out a way to play.
Absolutely, and looking forward to that. But then there's a lot of other sports, but I think there's so many other sports that you don't have those worries. Soccer, for example, just those outdoor sports. Now you have the worries of the players, but I think that they're going to be testing these guys and all that. So it's just going to be a whole lot of logistical stuff that has to be done, and it's a lot of logistical stuff. Concession stands. Think about the change that is taking place in all these restaurants. Well, if they have to do that, then they're going to have to start doing stuff in concession stands. These are not great money makers. They usually have volunteers in there and groups doing that stuff. Now you got to, what are you going to have everything packaged? Everybody in PPE stuff. Seriously, it's going to be a whole. I didn't even think about that. The concession stands at big public places like this. The massive changes that's going to take. So there's so many logistical things that have to take place.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, we'll be happy if that's a problem, because right now we're moving forward with the idea that I'm guessing there's probably not going to be fans in the stands to start. And so concessions won't be an issue, and they won't have to worry about that then. But eventually, I think it will get to that point. And it won't surprise me at all if they're playing without them. I think they'll figure out a way to make it happen. But I think they'll definitely figure out a way to play. And that's the key to it. Once it's on TV, we'll figure out a way to adjust to the next issue that happens. But, there's so many moving factors associated with every sport and every game and every organization. It's too big to even think of for the most part.
We heard from Tom Allen. Archie Miller also made a statement the other day. Jimmy, you got that up and ready? Here's Archie Miller.
And, the addition of the 3 fall signees, Trey and Anthony and Jordan, all 3 guys are ready to roll in terms of getting here as soon as they can. All 3 guys have a chance to be terrific players while they're at Indiana. All of them bring size and strength and skill at different levels, but they're all 3 physical bodies that are ready, I think, to compete. And great guys, just great guys already chomping at the bit to get back and get involved in a few conversations with our team already. So.
There's Archie Miller talking about the incoming class. Of course, you notice there was one guy he did not talk about, Christian Lander, but that's because of he's
technically still a recruiter, so
yes,
so he can't bring his name up in a conversation like that. That's why he was very adamant about stating the 3 players and saying their names, because I would bet you within 20 seconds prior to that statement or after that statement, he was texting Christian Lander, assuming that's legal, he was texting Christian Lander, making sure that he's aware that, I didn't mention your name because of NCAA rules.
Todd's traveling today.
NCAA rules.
Having a little signal problem with Todd there. He's traveling today, and we'll try to get that worked out. But yeah, it's so funny. Yeah, we can hear you. There's just your signal's kind of bad today. Christian Lander is a guy that obviously he'd love to have, and this is kind of funny where that rule comes into play, because this is not a deal where they're still having to recruit him, but you cannot even mention his name simply because of the situation. We can talk about all he wants, but not the coach. But you add that into that layer, so there's a lot of positives looking forward to it, and none more than the competition that you've talked about. You talked about it with Rob Fennessy, not having that guy push him. He can't be as good without that. He needs that. He needs to get pushed to be better. Christian Lander needs Rob Fennessy to push him to get better. He needs that older guy. He needs to come in and play against an older guy who's stronger, that can make him see exactly why he needs to do the bulk up or why he needs that. They need to see that from each other.
Yeah, when you're able to learn from the older upperclassmen, it's a gigantic advantage. And I think all of these guys coming in are guys that are going to have good attitudes about learning, about what it's and what they need to do. And I think they've just got a situation with Trey Jackson Davis and Rob Finney and Brunk, Al Durham, and those guys that are the upperclassmen that are going to be talking to them. we're not going to be getting the shut the F ups like we did last year from the upperclassmen. And I'm really looking forward to a team that has that aspect of it.
Can you? I know your team is so different. It's almost hard to ask this question, but what would have happened had that happened on one of those teams, one of your teams you'd been on?
I mean, it's speculation because I just don't think it would have ever happened.
Right.
But if it did, I mean, the coaching as a player, we wouldn't have really even been allowed to take care of it. The coaching staff would have taken care of that, and that person would have had a cleaned out locker. He had a cleaned out locker by the time he got back to Assembly Hall, and he would have had to work his way back onto the team. It just wasn't a thing. It's not acceptable. I'll just say that's the new age of player that something like that could even be acceptable, because think about that from Tom Allen's motto of love each other, and those things just don't go together. And I understand the heat of the battle, you do things and say things and all that, but you're talking about a teammate that's just trying to pump you up. It's just trying to give you encouragement. And
on the road, no less.
On the road in a tough environment, in a game you have a real good chance at winning, and they did win. And that's a situation that is very, very difficult to overlook. And if this is one of the things in recruiting that you just don't recruit those kinds of guys, in my opinion, and that they don't have those kinds of guys coming in.
Absolutely lack of leadership. Hey, we got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle Leary from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios. We're back with it right after this.
Hello, everybody. Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat. When I'm not covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 in Clarksville, located on the northeast corner of I-65 at Veterans Parkway. Bubba's 33 has hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer from a select list of local craft brewers. An incredible food selection, all made fresh daily. Whether you're meeting the team for that post-win meal in the family dining area or meeting friends for happy hour to watch the game on one of Bubba's 50 TVs. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Pizza, burgers, beer.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
I'm Rain Shaddy, and I'm a Hoosier. As a toddler, you could always find me running around in a cream and crimson onesie and a red IU hat reminiscent of those worn during the world-famous William Tell timeout, shouting, "Go Hoosiers!" Like many other alum, I chose to make Bloomington my home. As a civic and alumni leader, I have become very knowledgeable about our community and would love to share my insights with you as your realtor. Find me on Facebook or call or text me, Ryan Shaddy, with FC Tucker Bloomington Realtors at 765-623-9093.
Now that warm weather has arrived, it's time to hit the links, and there's no better place than the Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. Voted best golf course by the readers of the Bloomington Herald-Times, the Golf Club at Eagle Point is under new ownership, has new fairways and bunkers, and it's open to the public. When the round's over, there's cold beer and a full menu at the Eagle Point Pub and Bistro. Call 812-824-1100 to make a tee time. That's 812-824-1100. The Golf Club at Eagle Point in Bloomington. This is Jim Coyle from Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary. Indiana Sports Beat is now a part of the Rivals Network. You can go to thehoosier.com to sign up. It's free. Catch the show there each day live or at your convenience. You can also like or follow us on Facebook, follow the show's rebroadcast anywhere you podcast. If we're not on a radio station where you live, we should be. Let your local station know they need to carry Indiana Sports Beat with Coyle and Leary, or simply go to thehoosier.com.
Some of the best sounds you'll ever hear are generic, safe, effective, even money-saving, just like FDA-approved generic drugs. Even if they don't come in the exact same color or shape as their brand name equivalents, they have the same key ingredients and go through a rigorous review process. Talk to your doctor or pharmacist today and visit fda.gov/generic drugs. Generics are safe, effective, and can save you money. You'll like the sound of that.
This is James Blackman Jr., former Indiana Hoosier. Make sure you're keeping up with the Hoosiers on Indiana Sports Beat.
Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat with Coy O'Leary, coming to you from the Golf Club at Eagle Point Studios, powered by Rivals, here on this Thursday. Make sure you go to thehoosier.com for complete coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers. Looking for something to do for Father's Day gift? How about this round's on me? Dad plays for $1. Get major dad points this Father's Day by treating him to a round on the Donald Ross course at French Lick. Dad plays for $1 with a full paid round on Sunday, June 21st. Hurry, tee times won't last. Call 812-936-5523. That's 812-936-5523. Get yourself a tee time. Looking forward to that, and also tomorrow. Man, I don't have it confirmed yet, but Ryan Halstead probably joining us tomorrow, former baseball player for IU, the all-time saves leader for IU baseball, currently with the Giants organization. Alec Lasley will be here tomorrow to talk recruiting for sure, as we have that to get to. Potentially having Fuzzy Zeller on tomorrow. Have to see what Fuzzy's schedule is. Like Todd had to is traveling, so he had to bug out today. Be back tomorrow, of course. I hope everybody has a great day planned out. I mentioned Mike Miller resigning at Memphis. And I just, for whatever reason, I think that puts Indiana in a good position on his recruitment, not because we know anything, but it's just it has that feel. It's that weird feel, Todd Leary.
I'm sorry.
That's all right. The weather's been pretty nice for golfing out, man. A little storms coming through, but man, the course is looking nice. Things are going on right now.
You know what? It'd be very difficult for me to complain about anything right now when it comes to that. It's been nice and beautiful, and it's just it's kind of a different. It definitely is a different kind of excitement. We've never had a situation like this before, but from my perspective, I've got golf that's going to start on TV coming up next weekend. The opening of the practices that are going to start back up at universities. I mean, do we know yet what our access is going to be? Are we going to be able to go watch those?
No, nothing. I know absolutely nothing. But knowing it,
I'm excited about it.
Yeah. I was talking about, and getting back to the Mike Miller resignation at Memphis, just the timing seems a little weird to me with his son being one of the top recruits in the country come up, and knowing that would have to give Memphis an inside track. It's just, he resigned to spend more time with the family. So first of all, that's a bunch of crap. He's too young.
He's not going to say I resigned because I don't want my son to play for Penny Hardaway. So he's not going to say that. It's just it's a situation that I think he's going to do what's best for his son. Obviously, Mike Miller had a long NBA career. Money is most likely not an object, not a determining factor in this. So, they're going to make what decision they think is best for his son to go play and display his skills. And I don't know. Obviously, I don't think that was at Memphis the way things are playing out, but it definitely opens up a lot of other schools. And from what we've heard about him, there's a definite interest in Indiana.
Jimmy's got another clip from Archie talking about this group, and let's hear that.
Wait, hold on. I have my AirPods in.
Okay, or not. We're going to slap our producer on the wrist.
You got a tough day between dealing with me and dealing with him.
Send you a message. You got this clip. Send you a message. You got this clip. Great. Let's hear that clip. Oh, I don't have it ready.
Oh, I don't have it now.
Yeah, I didn't mean now. Oh, he's ready now.
Bring it.
The experience and the amount of time played all season long. We have a lot of guys, I think, with a year improvement that should show that we're a much better team in a lot of different ways. So, all in all, I'm very excited about the group. I think that our fans will like this group. It's going to be an easy group to like, and I think that they like one another, which is a great sign. So I'm excited about the roster. I am. I'm excited about getting started. Our staff not being traveling, not recruiting, not doing a lot of the stuff that takes away from your actual duties as a coach and the team. We spend a lot of time talking about our team right now.
There's the Indiana basketball coach Archie Miller, spreading the joy.
I mean, can you imagine being a coach of a bunch of kids right now? I mean, Tom Allen is a great example. Archie Miller is another really good example. I mean, they love the interaction with their team and their players. Like that's why they're coaches. And this has just had to be – it's difficult on everyone, and everyone has, different battles that they've got going on. But from a coach's perspective, the one thing they love about their job and what they do is taken away from them, and they can't even have that contact with them. So it's got to be insanely difficult.
Yeah, I can really see that for Tom Allen, man. I bet this has probably been nuts because he is such an emotional hug. Football coaches are like that a lot because they got that passion, and he definitely is that guy. Let me tell you, socially distancing is going to be absolute hell on Tom Allen. They're going to have to put a tether on him probably just to hold him back, and somebody's going to be in charge of holding him back from hugging people and stuff.
You know how on the sidelines they have that coach that has the leash around the coach and he's holding him back? I think Tom Allen has that on a daily basis, just randomly, like at the grocery store. I think he's got somebody yanking him back. He's always 100%. And we've said this in different ways, but I mean, there are people who cannot get away with acting the way that Tom Allen acts. It would just come across as too fake and too much BS. But he's not that guy.
Dabo Sweeney.
I mean, Dabo Sweeney's. I like you. I think he practices what he preaches. I do. But he's. I mean, if you're being compared to Dabo Sweeney, you're in good shape. If you're Tom Allen,
yeah, just got to put the wins next to it, man.
Tom Allen can't. I don't want to. There's a former Indiana basketball coach that I think had a lot of the same visual excitement and energy that Tom Allen has, and it just didn't come across right. And I think with Tom Allen, it comes across right, and it's really good.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm looking forward. I'm telling you, I'm looking forward to this football season. I mean, we've got to get past all this coronavirus crap, but the excitement is truly there, and because this team, because we're going through this time. This team is more prepared for it because of what we talked about before. The LEO, I know it sounds cheesy, but let me tell you, I think that they are better prepared as a team than many teams to deal with this because of that very thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. I mean, what we said earlier about Tom Allen, in that it's not a bunch of BS. It's not just he's not blowing smoke out there and smoking mirrors and all that. Like, it's the motto he lives by, and it's the motto that he. I don't want to say forces the team, but the team has to abide by it and has to live by it. And it is built to make you better through situations like this, not just in football games, in real life situations. And that's why you're exactly right. I mean, I think they're set up for success better through this situation than a lot of other teams are.
Tim just sent a text in. They canceled the Harvest Homecoming in New Albany. Can't believe that. That's for usually in October. I'm like, gee whiz, you can't wait.
Not going to be a pickle queen or anything.
I'm telling you can't wait.
You guys have down there?
Come on, man. Can't wait till a little later. Gee whiz, that's an outside event. I'm telling you,
Miss Grain, Southern Indiana, or whatever whatever award you've got.
Miss Cornstalk. Yeah, I don't know.
I wasn't going to go there on that
one. 51 straight years. That's craziness. But craziness. But oh well, what are you going to do? We still got to deal with it, man. But I hope everybody's had a great time. Looking forward to doing this again tomorrow. I'm not going to say who we may have on yet because I've already said it, and I'm not sure. I don't have them confirmed yet. But I hope everybody goes out and has a great day. I mean, it's going to be – the weather's great. Go out and enjoy, get outside, and we're going to come back and do this all again tomorrow if that's all right.
Can't wait.
All right, everybody, I appreciate you joining us. For Jimmy and Todd, I'm Jim Coyle. I will see you on the radio.